What's up, War Report family? It's your boy C-Dub. It's Auburn, Mississippi State pregame. Let's get into it.
Pregame, halftime, and post the whole time the chat live. We around our folks, but we gon' keep the chat tight, keeping out trolls. That's why you gotta get your green name on, your pregame on, cause ain't nobody doing it better, reviewing it better, building rapport so you in tune with the players, with some great prize picks so you can scoop you some cheddar. Get your mug or your shirt with the letters. Game time.
Guys, we want to welcome you to the pregame show brought to you by show sponsor Prize Picks. Guys, please be sure to head on over there and use code RAPPORT, where they will give you a 100% deposit match up to $100 on your first deposit. Shout out to Prize Picks for supporting our show. Shout outs to you guys for hanging out with us. I'm joined by Ike Jones, B. Will. It's time to do it, man. Y'all ready to do these prize picks?
Yeah, might as well. Let's see what we got going on today. Y'all know how we do prize pick style, man. We're going to get in here and take a look at what things are available. Let's go look at the Auburn side first and foremost. Prizepicks.com is where we are. You see the ones that are available. We got passing yards for Robbie Ashford, rush yards for him, a combined pass rush yard total, fantasy score, all for Robbie Ashford. Which of these things are you guys feeling against this Mississippi State defense that we should take for Robbie? Robbie, Tank, and Javarius are the only ones that we have available. But let's talk about Robbie first and foremost. You guys feeling any of these? Robbie over 40 and a half rushing yards. He hasn't really been doing a lot of running lately.
He hasn't, but this is everything's brand new now. We can't go by anything that has happened before to determine what he's going to do this time. So, ooh, that's a
What else we got?
These are his recent rush totals here. Arkansas, he had 87 yards. So, what did he do in the Ole Miss game? I think that'd be interesting because they're going to be facing a three-man front again. Ole Miss, he only had 35 rush yards.
I mean, that's because Tank was just
he was killing it.
Right. And do you anticipate Tank going off again? We got Tank at 66 and a half yards here. You think Tank goes up? I mean, we did facts or non. We said that we thought Tank would get over 100.
Take Tank. I would definitely take Tank for sure.
So Tank Bigsby over 66 and a half yards. So he needs 67 there. Let's say we're going to take the over on that. Any thoughts, though, on these yardage? 165 passing yards. Let's look at what his recent passing yards things are. Let's see. He had some pretty low output games.
I'm tempted to take that one.
That's interesting.
More likely for him to have over 166 pass yards or over 41 rushing yards.
I think over 41 rushing yards is more likely, honestly. Let's see. Let me see what Mississippi State is better at defending.
Okay.
They're kind of.
Arkansas scored a touchdown. Fourth
Oh.
quarter, down a minute. 2-point conversion ties it. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
No, I see. Yeah, Arkansas gets the 2-point conversion. It's going to go to OT, or how much time is left in the game?
1 minute left.
Oh, they got time to come back and kick a field goal and just put them out their misery real quick. That's funny.
Yeah.
Anyway, so what are we feeling on that, though?
All right.
You think,
so Mississippi State defense is not great either way, huh? Just
I think
they're giving up
227.
227. They're giving 2 of 27 a game passing, 137 a game rushing.
So here's the thing to consider. If Tank does go get 100 yards, do you think that makes it more likely that Robbie throws for 166?
Yes.
Yeah, if he's eating like that, then there's a good chance that Robbie is going to go over on the throwing yards. So we might.
I understand the appeal of 40, especially if Robbie has gotten better in terms of knowing when to run or knowing when not to force something, and he's taking off, and he's doing that enough throughout the game. I think he can very easily get over 40. So I can see how that could happen as well.
Well, I'm leaning towards the pass yards just because I think that the running backs are going to do the heavy lifting on the ground today. So I'll take the 165 over here. Let's look at Mississippi State and see what we have on their side. Will Rogers here. Do we think he throws for over 296 yards?
Yes.
It was said with no hesitation.
Our secondary is good. Well, the yards after catch on some stuff where our linebackers get out of position could kill us.
Let's see. Bama and Kentucky were the ones that were able to keep him sub 300. Kentucky did a really great job against them in the past.
He's at home, though. I think that's the biggest difference now. I saw a stat that noted the difference between Mississippi State away and at home. I'm going to say over on the yards because they're at home.
Okay. So we'll take the over on those three. We have the option to flex play or power play that.
Mississippi State don't do anything else but throw the ball. So it's not like they're going to throw for 300 and run for 200.
All right. Well, we'll lock in this card here. We got 2 Auburn players, and then we got Will Rogers. Do we want to take any of these wide receivers on this card at all?
I have no idea what our offense is gonna want to do. If I did know, I mean, I would say let's bet it, but we just don't know.
Yeah, we'll keep it right here with the flex play on those 3 pick flex play, and we'll place that entry and see how it goes. We'll check back on that card later, but that's it, man. Let's get into the game,
gentlemen. How are we feeling? How are we feeling about this game? I'll start with you, Big Will.
I'm feeling renewed, man. I feel like we got some hope. Not for we're gonna have a blockbuster season. There's only so much you can do when you're already 5 games in the hole, but fighting for bowl eligibility. Mississippi State, Texas A&M, Western Kentucky. I think we are fighting for bowl eligibility, and I'm at least hopeful that we won't be embarrassed tonight. We got embarrassed a few times this season, which is not. We didn't get embarrassed last season. Like the comeback win for Mississippi State against us last, like that hurt. But I don't know. A great passing team can do that to you sometimes. So that wasn't quite the hurt that Penn State was this year, that Arkansas was this year, that honestly Missouri was, even though it was in a win. We looked terrible and we were embarrassing. I am hopeful that we don't get embarrassed tonight. So I'm happy about that. That's all I got. But I'm taking that. I like it.
Ike, how you feeling, man? How you feeling about this game? It's a lot up in the air. There's a lot we don't know, but
yeah. I mean, that's the thing. I mean, there's so much we don't know about what could potentially be trotting out there as far as our offense. And, this is going to be the first big time passing threat that we've had to face. And our secondaries played well this year, but are they good because we've been playing a lot of running teams, right? And so teams have just been able to run the ball, so it didn't matter. Mississippi State's not even going to try to run the ball for the most part, right? Like they're just going to throw it. So the secondary is going to have to go out there and play their best game of the year so far. So I'm not sure what to even expect, but I am cautiously optimistic about the team going out there and playing with some good energy. So that's really the best thing that you can hope for is good energy. Have those guys go out there and compete really well. I think we need to win this game. If we want to win a bowl game, we got to win this one. Right. If we want to get to a bowl game, I should say, we've got to win this one. Like,
yeah, for sure. I mean, again, this is a game about pride right now. Like you're really praying for pride, playing for each other. Just go out there and knock some heads around. I'm curious to see what we look like offensively, how we use our skill guys. Let's go to some the comments. Misa AT Alien, appreciate you hanging out with us. War Eagle for Coach Caddy. My petty heart is happy to see A&M lose by double digits. I said that just so you can get that smile or that grin from B Will. He feels the same way. Thanks for hanging out with us. Bay Lyman asks.
Oh, my bad. I clicked the wrong one.
Bay Lyman asks, how's Mike G doing? Decent.
Yeah, I mean, he's improving. We're hoping that he will be back before the end of the football season. So
yeah, for sure. So continue to keep him lifted up in your prayers, as we will. Thanks for asking. Nicholas Frazier says Jimothy T and A&M got booty blasted, and Florida left at least another 10 points on the field.
Is that like Maybach music? Do you try to?
Yeah. Absolutely.
Booty blasted.
So I'm sure that was you was out, B. You didn't. I saw you on Twitter. Did you miss some of that?
Yeah, man. I didn't see any of the game. I didn't see any of it. Went back to Birmingham so my in-laws could see their grandkids, and yeah, it was still nice to check my phone and see that update. You know what I'm saying? It was real cool. It was real cool.
For sure. Johnny B super chat says War Eagle, let's go, Coach Caddy. A lot of people excited about Coach Caddy. Let's talk about that before we get to the rest of the comments. What do you think the excitement about Caddy? I've been seeing highlight videos of Caddy. We saw
man,
the video,
that highlight video that they dropped was crazy.
Yeah,
the I believe joint, man. Come on, cuz.
Man. And the his speech to the team, like we've been seeing a lot of there's been a lot of support and excitement about Coach Caddy. How significant is this for him, man? Just being a head coach for Auburn University, the school he loves, school he played for. How significant you guys think this will be tonight for him?
I mean, I think it's going to be a really emotional night for him. Just kind of a realization of a lot of things that he's worked hard for.
Mm-hmm.
The unfortunate reality is he's inheriting a team that's not playing really well. So,
yeah,
I mean, otherwise he wouldn't be the interim coach. But
right.
I think it's going to be difficult to change the trajectory of the direction that the football team is going. But I like what he's doing from changing the tone around the program that would help us in recruiting for the future. So, I just hope the guys go out there and play really hard for him, and we put a respectable 40 minutes of football together, or 60 minutes, however many minutes in these. Yeah, whatever. You know what I'm trying to say. Play the whole game.
I feel you. B, let's talk about this. I saw the comment here. Money Mon is saying Kaufman is out. Ooh. One of the things that and he comes back and says, no, Kaufman worries me as well, because he's definitely one of the leaders in the secondary. Your concerns about secondary play in this game?
Yeah, Kaufman is a bit of a cure-all back there, and it worries me. It absolutely worries me that he's out. But if they knew he was going to be out, he's in a boot, apparently, then that means the staff has to have had somebody else prepared. And I hope we see more guys than we've seen going forward. There may have been some decisions that came from the head coaching position at the time that kept guys off the field who could play. And I am hoping and looking forward to that having changed, that guys who can ball are just on the field to ball, and not because they have to meet some bar outside of playing football well to get on the field. So that may be the case tonight. So we may see some guys who didn't get a lot of burn. So I think it's all on the table. But Kaufman, his experience, his skill not being there, yeah, it still worries me.
Yeah.
More comments here. Tatiana Conover says TJ Finley is gone. What a team player he was. I know it was announced that he was definitely not traveling with the team. Mm-hmm. So Holden Gariner is the backup QB for sure for Auburn. So unfortunate for him, but Auburn moves on. Haley Tubbs says Fayetteville froze over. I see what you did there, Haley. Liberty pulled it out.
They did indeed.
Tatiana Conover says, how many players are still in the portal? Is it still 3? I think it's more than 3. I think it's 4 because 4. The receiver.
All wide receivers. Tavares Dawson, Landon King, Xavion Capers, was Zacchaeus Walker in the portal?
Yeah.
So at least those 4. There may be
80 diamond.
80 diamond.
So yeah, 5 total. Yeah.
5. So yeah. So let's get back to this game. So obviously we're concerned about the defensive side, the secondary. Let's talk about pressure. The guys up front. How important? What do you expect to see with those guys up front in terms of? Obviously, we know how Mississippi State functions and how they like to get the ball out their hands quickly. What do we expect to see tonight from Auburn, from the defensive front?
I mean, they're not going to have a ton of time to try to go get pressure, but hopefully we can get some guys beating somebody one-on-one just to make him uncomfortable back there. But I expect that the defensive front is just going to need to be disciplined enough to not allow them to go crazy with like little cheap runs, right? Like just handing it off real quick and then popping. Like I just need them to shut them down in one phase, right? Like they're going to throw the ball, but try to make them unbalanced, not be able to get the cheap stuff, and allow our DBs some time back there to do what they need to do as far, well, not allow them time, but like make it where you have to speed him up a little bit so that he's not able to push the ball downfield.
B.
Yeah. We know that their wide receivers are going to be not running particular routes. That's something unique to Mississippi State's defense. I imagine you go back and look at this game film from last year, that these players who were here feel like they have a lot to prove. The quick passing game definitely neutralizes a great pass rush, but we don't necessarily have a great pass rush without Eke Leota on the field. So I suspect that we should be ready for a very quick passing game. I wouldn't be surprised if we stayed in nickel all game. Just at 5 defensive backs all the time, everywhere. Defensive backs. We joked about this, but defensive backs on the defensive line, just defensive backs everywhere.
Yeah.
But we've got to do that. If you're giving up the idea that we're going to get home, don't worry about getting home. Cover. And that sounds like a sound strategy. Whether I'm sure they practice something like that, whether or not they can execute, we will see.
Yeah. And obviously tackling in space is going to be very key, especially with how Mississippi State runs its offense. Again, we've already alluded to the fact we're not quite sure what we'll see offensively. We got some new we got a new OC, new play caller. What is it that you would like to see on the offensive side in terms of strategy tonight? We talked about, obviously, we expect to see a big night from Tank Bigsby. But what else do we expect to see, or what else would we like to see? I would say that, because again, it's anyone's guess what will happen in this game offensively. But what is it that you would like to see these coaches come out and do with understanding the issues that we've had on offense, understanding the personnel, guys who've been injured, beat up front? What would you like to see this offense do?
Establish the run. Figure out a way to get the run going. Let those guys go out there and be physical, and give Robbie Ashford some play action to work with, something that will allow him to potentially use his legs and be athletic, whether it's on the bootlegs and scrambles, but just establish the run so that you slow down that pass rush a little bit, because I don't want to see us in 3rd and long scenarios all night.
B.
Yeah, same thing. We got to run the ball. Coach Caddy said as much when he was asked about what the game plan was. Like, got to shorten the game, limit their possessions, and we got to. He said, "I want to get us back to playing Auburn football, which is running the football." I mean, he's a running back, so of course he's gonna find a way for us to get him moving on the ground. I'm interested to see what that looks like. Just to see if, I don't know, like every time when we were just fantasizing about what this offense could do with the personnel that we had coming into the season, like Ike was always like, I don't understand why every time you're in the red zone, we don't have Landon King, Camden Brown in a red zone package every time we get down there without fail. And it seems like we tried a lot of things outside of what makes sense, but if it makes sense because it works, or it should work if you are planning correctly. So with Caddy, I wonder if, listen, man, I want my 5 most rugged offensive linemen on the field and mush. That's it. Just push. Just go. Like I wonder if they are just cutting out the nonsense, whatever they were trying to do early in the season. And that's the great thing about having coaches in place who have seen what we could do so far. They know what wasn't working. Everybody knows what we were being asked to do, but everybody knows it wasn't working. And just like with anything else, you go to work and you're like, all right, well, they got us on this project, but I wouldn't have this guy on this project. I have him on that project. Yeah, the guy on that project, I wouldn't even have him working here. I fire him. And so you come up with a plan. So by the time, hey, the boss who had us doing all the wrong things, good, they're gone. Now let's do stuff that makes sense. And I'm hoping that we're going to do something that makes sense, that our personnel, the new coaches in place, the analysts that are now coaches, and the coaches that are now coordinators, do something that makes sense for what we have. I don't believe we are as bad talent-wise as we've shown this year. And that's really the sad part is we've looked worse than what we are. I hope that they find a way to make us at least look serviceable, because at the very least, we should be a competitive SEC West team. I think our offense will look better. I think we'll be able to move the ball on the ground. That doesn't mean we win, but yeah, I think that is what we see tonight. They find a way to move the ball on the ground.
Yeah, I mean, I've said from the beginning of the season, or preseason even, talent was not going to be the issue for Auburn. We're really only, and I don't even like using the word talent deficient, but we're not playing up to our talent level in 2 rooms. Everywhere else, I feel like we're doing okay. And if we can find better productivity out of those 2 rooms, we'll win ball games, because we've got enough talent in the rest of the rooms to be able to do it. But we've got to. We talked about this a little bit on Wednesday. Tackling in space is going to be a must. They've got to get there. They've got to tackle, get guys to the ground. If you're letting guys run, making runs after the catch and all that, it's going to be a long day, especially if you were there to make the tackle. It's different if he was running wide open, which I hope I don't see any of.
Right.
But if you're there, make the tackle, make them earn their yardage. So physicality is going to be important, but being physical and being sound in that physicality is going to be paramount.
One of the things that we complained about throughout this season has been.
Oh, I just saw this comment. Sorry, Capers transferred as well.
That's right.
Yeah. You mentioned him. B. You said Zay.
Okay, I said Zay. Okay.
You said Zay. One of the things that we've complained about is just how vanilla we've been offensively. And there's been times we'll just run, then throw on third down. Run, throw on third down. Do we see a breakup in tendency in terms of, now that we have a different play caller, do we see Robbie throw a little bit on first down? Do we see a breakup, or if we're getting back to Auburn football, are we 3 yards in a cloud of dust? Like what are you thinking in terms, because again, it's no one's guess, but it's anyone's guess, but what does that mean?
I wish I knew. I wish I had the first clue what a run game coordinated Will Friend and pass game coordinated Ike Hilliard offense even remotely looks like, but I don't have the first clue.
Right. I have no idea. I'm really looking forward to just the surprise. Like I don't know. I at least I'm not depressed like I was the last couple of weeks. Cool. I don't know what's gonna happen. It should at least be interesting. Let's go.
Something to look forward to, right? Zach says read options and quick outs, nickel and dime, and have Brown and King if he's King won't be there.
Yeah.
But if he's playing on the outside is what Zach said there. One thing I do want to say is, with us being on the road, how critical and how important will it be for us to not have a lot of false starts, holding calls? Because again, it doesn't matter who's calling the plays and who's the OC if we're shooting ourselves in the foot on first and second with holds and false starts. So let's talk about penalties. Let's even talk about turnovers with this offense. We didn't turn the ball over last time we were out. Hard to imagine that the way we've been playing this year that we'll go again and not turn the ball over, even though that's what I hope happens.
Right.
But let's talk about how critical it's going to be for these guys to be disciplined as it pertains to protecting the football as well as the mental game and not having false starts.
Yeah, I mean, on the road in Cowbell Central, you got to make sure that you're being disciplined for sure on offense and not putting yourself in those negative situations early. That's really been the issue for us in the road games thus far this season, is just allowing ourselves to get in negative situations early. The Georgia game, that's what we did. Ole Miss, same thing. Like, we were just not disciplined early in the game, and we had to crawl our way back out of holes. So hopefully we don't do that to ourselves this time.
Yeah. B?
Yeah, that's being in a hole with this defense is not what you want. I think the strategy still has to be to get up and get up quickly. Force teams to drive the ball down the field on you, bow up in the red zone, and hold them to threes or nothings. I don't know if Mississippi State's kick game has gotten any better, but we need to put points up before the opponent does, and we need to stay up. That's the only way we're going to put pressure, the type of pressure on them where we can force them to keep throwing. And I think if you they were going to keep throwing anyway, so maybe that's not as much of an advantage as it would be against somebody else. But we've got to get up and stay up. Our offense has to be what keys us in on this victory. It can't. Like other things we're saying, hey, it could be better now. They're going to put the right guys in the field. I've seen all of the guys at linebacker tackle this season. I don't know how a coaching change suddenly changes. You got there to the spot and the guy just brushed you off. Like I saw that happen too many times to think, okay, that's going to be fixed. So I'm counting on the offensive line, a reshuffling of the offensive line, a different calling the game a different way, different passing game strategies to keep us on the field. And that is what keeps us in control of the game and get to a victory today.
Well, guys, let's get to it. Let's get into some predictions. Let's talk about what we think is going to happen in this game. Ike, how you think this game unfolds, bro?
Man, I wish I could tell you, bro. I'll tell you. We'll go on my wishful thinking parade because I don't have any way of predicting anything for real in this game. I'm hoping that we see 200 plus rush yards on the day, and Robbie Ashford throws for 180, 190 yards, couple of and no interceptions, couple of touchdowns, whether it's running or passing. If he plays mistake-free ball and we can get 200 plus on the ground, I think we win this football game. Because I think we control the clock and keep Mississippi State away from it. But a lot of that's going to have to do with how we function in the red zone, because we've had, the ability to move the ball up until we get to the red zone and then we stall. So hopefully that's not a trend again this game.
Yeah.
What's your pick?
Who wins?
Yeah.
I'm never going to say Auburn's going to lose a football game again this season.
Okay.
We should beat everybody else left on this schedule. I don't including Bama. Screw them.
Excluding nobody.
Yeah.
B.
Sorry. I'm gonna say Auburn's gonna win. Don't ask me if I really mean it, but I'm gonna say that. Margin. I pick Auburn to cover. The last I checked, the line was plus 12.5 for Auburn. So if we lose by 12, that's a cover. I believe we will cover tonight. But margin, I'm calling a win. It's gonna be tight. It's gonna be close. 27, 24, 24-23. Dramatic. Big drama.
You guys got me wanting the sunshine pump.
Come on, man.
On a day when it's been raining all day and gloomy.
We need the sunshine. See, come on, man.
Sure. I got
there
Auburn
we go.
winning.
Come on, man.
I got Auburn winning and a close game. I'm gonna go 21-20. Is that what you just had, B?
I had 23-24, but yeah.
I'm gonna go 21-20.
Let's go for it.
I'm gonna go 21-20 for the sunshine pump. All right, let's see what some of you guys are saying. I'm gonna go through a few. Michael from Facebook saying it's 34-21 Auburn. Auburn wins by multiple scores. I see you. Nicholas Frazier says, I think this is a close win for Auburn. Lawrence Robinson says, if Anders miss again inside 40, we pulling up. I see you. P-Pass says 33-30 Auburn. Dallas Schwartz says AU 23, the Mutts 14. Let's see here. I got James Barnett 21-19 Auburn. J-Dog says 20-17 Auburn. So a lot of us are feeling good about Auburn. I'm surprised no one trolled and felt funny and put 3-2 up there. Don't do it. It's too late. I already called that. Jay Khan says 13-10 field goal battle. Auburn wins it. Cool. Daniel Speller's got his shades on, which means there's a lot of sunshine in the. Yes, it is. D-Mac says 34-17 AU. Zach Smith says 24-20 AU. So a lot of people are liking Auburn in this game. I think it's definitely a game Auburn can win. We will definitely be back to talk about it in the halftime show. Guys, if you're not a member of the War Report, go get you a green name so you can get on and hang out with us. You can celebrate amazing first half or get on here and complain along with us. So $5.99 to get you there, guys. Definitely want to become a member, a patron with the War Rapport. We will definitely see you guys at the half. Enjoy
just
the game.
FYI, if you're joining us on Facebook for the pregame, halftime and postgame are going to only be on YouTube. So we're doing pregame on Facebook, but only on YouTube for post and half.
For sure. Listen, guys, we're about to be out of here. Enjoy the game. We will see you at the half. You already know what it is. War Eagle.
War Eagle.